hopefully, hopefully, I'm doing my best. For the kids that found my YouTube channel, guys, just leave it on here. Don't be looking this stuff up at school. Don't. There's things that I do, ways that I act that are 100% different than what I would do at school. And at school is 100% professionalism. It's 100% on the ball, doing my stuff, doing everything I can for them. And at home, yeah, I might curse every now and then. I might have some gameplay that's scary, some gameplay that's about Call of Duty. But it's just time to de stress from life at home. Whereas at school, I'm 100% on the ball. I'm wanting to do my best for the students, and the school wants the best for you. So let's make sure we can do school stuff at school, this kind of stuff at home. So if you guys would, do me a favor, make sure that we keep this separate. Hey guys, what's going on? It's your boy Saglitch, aka Sag. Today I'm bringing you a little bit of a talk to. You guys probably figured this was coming because of the time of the year it is, and unfortunately I wasn't able to make this video before I left for Thanksgiving holiday to go see my in-laws and to have Thanksgiving dinner with them. But we're back. It's Friday, and hopefully by the time this uploads, it's still Friday. But just kind of like a heads up, and Thanksgiving is like one of the biggest holidays that's overlooked, whether it be the consumerism of Black Friday or people going straight from Halloween to Christmas. And I, for one, enjoy the I, for one, enjoy the festivities and the festiveness of Thanksgiving. And being a history major through college and actually studying some of the stuff that comes with it, holidays don't necessarily have the brightest and most caring history behind them. And that goes along with Thanksgiving. Well, depending on what you believe and depending on what really happened, and no offense to everyone who studied this, including myself, we weren't there, so we don't know exactly what happened. But within the time of the 13 colonies, the pilgrims were running out of food, running out of items to help them just basically make it through winter. And they basically had to stockpile from the second everything started coming in to get through winter. And unfortunately, they didn't necessarily do the right amount, and the calculations were a little off, and the amount of people that were there kind of like questioned their ability if they were going to be able to actually hold them. So they had to scrounge for resources, and depending on what you were taught and depending on what really happened is what you feel about this holiday. Now, for me, I am pretty skeptical about what really happened. And I know that sometimes people get the raw end of a deal. And that's what happens with the Native Americans. And so the colonists basically became a barter system with the Native Americans to somehow get them through it. Or at least that's how the story goes. There was the French and Indian War. There was Sherman's March. The Trail of Tears, all that stuff in Sherman's March was not really for, but Sherman actually did pretty bad stuff to all the tribes to get them out, or excuse me, not Sherman, Andrew Jackson, who basically went and kicked a lot of the native tribes out of their original spots to get more land for the U.S. So not necessarily the best of histories there, but something that can come from it is the celebration of the holidays. And now it's you kind of meet it with like a bunch of family gatherings, a bunch of like be thankful for this. And it's kind of more from the influence and the emphasis on family and gone towards consumerism. As you guys can see, there's plenty of reports about Black Friday deals. There's plenty of Cyber Monday deals, all that stuff around this time because it is that in between transition period from Halloween to Christmas. But as we get older, the need to go out and go shopping not only for ourselves but for others has kind of dwindled, which isn't necessarily a bad thing because no offense is I don't like crowds. You guys know I'm a big guy. I don't like crowds. Number one because I feel kind of like a bull in a china shop. Like I can't move around freely and have to worry about hurting other people. On top of that is I get ran over in crowds. Like people just don't give a shit. Um, but what we did was Monday and Tuesday was a teacher work day. We got a lot of stuff done, both myself and my wife, and we came home, just kind of patched for the holiday, and we left to Orlando for Wednesday and Thursday, and we just came back today, which is Friday. It was nice. We didn't want to spend the entire weekend because we do like to come back and have a little bit of transition. On top of that, my parents are coming down for the holiday break for Christmas, and we do have to clean. So we're gonna do a pretty good bit of cleaning over the weekend on top of like resting. But last night was really bad night for sleeping. The bed we had isn't big enough for my wife and I, and on top of that, the dogs are sleeping with us. So my wife didn't get much sleep. So right now, she's in the bedroom trying to catch up on a little bit of a nap and maybe some iPad watch. I'm not sure which she's going to do more of. But I decided to take time to come in here and kind of put out a video, just letting you guys know what we did, and to actually come back to what we're thankful for, or at least what I'm thankful for. And I'm gonna start off first and foremost, my family. My dad, my mom. As you guys might or might not know, I'm an only child, but I didn't come from a very well off family. My parents worked their tails off to provide for me what they did, and I'm thankful that they always instilled in me a hard work ethic, even though I'm a little bit lazy when it comes to certain things. They show me the true meaning of working for something and getting what you want when you work hard enough for it. I had a huge pool growing up. I did all sports from basically middle school or a little bit like later years of elementary all the way up through college. And I was able to do that because my parents provided for us what they needed. They were always loving. They showed me right from wrong, even though I don't always do the right things. They show me respect, even though I take it for granted sometimes. They show me everything that I need to do to be part of a productive member of society, as well as a very well off person. And I like to think that I'm a pretty good person, but to each their own. I treat people with respect. I always do that. It's a really big part of me. If you upset me, regardless, I'm still going to treat you as a human being, but it's going to take a lot to come back to it. And I'm working on myself so we can always be better and do better. But I'm pretty happy with where I'm at right at this moment. And I have a lot to thank for my parents. A lot of like opportunities, like coming out of college, I didn't have any bills to pay because my parents worked to provide and pay for college for me. Whereas a lot of people go out and they have a lot of loans and stuff like that to do. I was able to focus on my grades and my sports, my athletics and academics in high school, and that transferred over when I got a athletic and academic scholarship. First academic and then later on athletic scholarship in college. Um, you know, Coming out of college, I didn't really know what to do. I did move from North Carolina to Florida, and my wife's originally from this area, but I didn't really know anybody. I still like, not that it's any of her fault at all. I have some friends down here. I don't have a lot of friends, but I have friends, and they're quality. And I always said it's better to have quantity over quality. And my best friend Tim, he lives out in Dallas, which we were roommates for 2.5 years almost. Um, Greatest dude I know. He's coming to have a baby. You guys might or might not have. I don't think I did the video of when we hung out at Universal, but I did talk about it, and I was able to see him, which was the first time in like almost a year or over a year, and it needs to happen a little bit more. So I love you, Tim. I'm very thankful for you as well. You made life a lot more interesting since being in college, and since then, you guys just don't understand what we were going through in college. Not that we were going through a lot; it was just having a. Sometimes we'd have rough days. We'd always like basically bank off of each other and try to get each other happy. And when he would have a rough day, I would have a good day. When I would have a bad day, he would have a good day, and we just kind of like supported one another. And he was one of the actually greatest dudes I know. So I am thankful for him. I'm thankful for all my friends actually who help me get through things when I'm not necessarily the most cheerful person and the most easygoing person. But I want to thank you guys that just helped me through it, and even the guys online for PlayStation. Spent a lot of time on there. So Rob, Kyle, all you guys are awesome as well. It's not just about video games with me. It's about hanging out, and I appreciate you guys taking time out of your day to hang out with me and put up with my crap when I'm off. So yeah, thanks for you guys. One of the biggest things I want to thank people that I want to thank is my wife. I love her to death. I know it doesn't always seem like it, but I do. I love you to death. There's not one person in the world who believes in me more or has done more things for me, and it means a lot. And like I said, just because you take people for granted doesn't mean that they don't know what you do for you. And my wife, she's one of the most passionate people in the world, especially for teaching. She's been a teacher. She graduated 3 years in college, and she's been a teacher ever since. She loves teaching. She loves impacting young kids. She teaches fourth grade right now, but she has taught third. She's also taught kindergartens when she did student teaching, and she loves the age that she's at now. And without her, I wouldn't be a teacher right now. And I'm still through the process of doing everything, guys. You know that. But without her, I don't think that I would have gotten an interview at the school that I teach at. I don't think I would have even had the just belief in myself that I could do this. I mean, one thing that you guys don't know is the second I got hired during the school year, and I was already behind about a month or two. And when I got the job, it was almost kind of like shock because of how it went, how smooth the interview went, how it was just like right then, snap of a finger, you're in the classroom the next week. And I interviewed on a Friday, came in on a Tuesday, and just it's been great ever since. The part you guys don't know is that I'm a little bit of a perfectionist in some parts of my life, and I've worked security right out of college. I worked basically 5 years of a job that not necessarily I hated. Towards some parts of it, yes, I hated it, but I got in a rut, and I got in this little hole that I didn't think I could come out of. And my wife was there to always help me out, and there for a while it was miserable because of how poor I saw myself and how low I saw myself. And she was able to come out, help me through it. She got an interview for me, and she didn't have any kind of they thought of her so well. She had such a high influence in the school, and they saw how great of a teacher she was, that they said basically if I'm half of that or even a fourth of that, I'd be better in the classroom than what they had. So She puts up with me every single day. And again, not the easiest person to get along with, but there's so much more I can say and so much time I could take up. But I'm gonna keep it simple. I'm gonna let her know that I love her every single day. Um, Even if we argue, I love her to death. And even when she goes behind my back and gets a dog, I love her to death. So, just want to say thank you. If you're watching this, I appreciate you. And I know you could probably hear me in the bedroom, but I love you to death, babe. Next up, with her comes her family. And not going into her like upbringing and all that good stuff, but she's got my in-laws, and I've heard horror stories. I've seen horror stories about people who don't get along with their in-laws, that don't just don't. It doesn't go well. It doesn't bode well for them. And I can honestly say the exact opposite for me. Her dad and her mom are some of the most not like some of the nicest people you could ever meet. Um, they come from Pennsylvania. Uh, they're down here. Her dad works in at FPL. He's pretty high up there, and her mom's a librarian. So you can see where the education aspect comes into play with the mom, and they kind of talk back and forth, especially over the summer when the mom tries to put in like an educational reading program with the library. They kind of like go off of each other and see what they could and couldn't do, what it does and doesn't work. And not to say that my wife gives my mother-in-law ideas, but she's there for support because she does see the educational side of that. So it's really awesome. I also have two sister-in-laws. One who lives in Jacksonville who wasn't able to make it to this year's Thanksgiving, and one whose house we just went to in Orlando. She works with Universal. She's more like my father-in-law. She's very driven, determined, and sometimes I think hard-headed. But this all comes with love. I'm not here to break her down. I'm not here to like talk shit to her or about her. I love my in-laws to death. They all try to make me feel, welcome and invited. It's not that they have to strain to do that. We just naturally get along because they know that my wife loves me and that I want to be a part of the family and that we're all happy with each other. And kind of worried me because the sister-in-law whose house we just went to, her husband's a kind of like a vegetarian that only eats the fish. I don't know what that's called. I'm stupid. But I was worried. I was like, you gotta have some meat. But the dude put some sides, so good for you, dude. He was nice enough to like not try to make us feel uncomfortable for making meat. He's just kind of like one of those guys, like, you guys can eat what you want. It's just I don't partake in that. And I'm like, okay, fair enough. But great people, great time, great family. Couldn't ask for better in-laws. I just don't understand where people would have such horror stories about their family that they have to put up with like that. I don't get it because my father-in-law, he's the nicest guy ever. He tries to include me on a lot of stuff, and I'm the pack mule of the family, and I understand what my role is, where he's a little older, he can't carry as much stuff up, and that's where I come in the hand. I'm a big guy, I can carry a lot of stuff, I can haul the shit around. That's what I'm here for. And it's not that I'm always like wanting to do it, but hey, I know my role. If I'm a big guy and I can lift a lot more than say my other sister-in-law's husbands or boyfriends and or my father-in-law, I'm gonna do it because that's who I am. You're supposed to help out family members when you need it, and that's who I am. I'm not the brightest dude in the bunch by any means. I'm not stupid, but I'm not the brightest person in the bunch, and but I am definitely the biggest, so I'm able to help around with things that they need help with, and return, they help me with stuff that I need help with. So it's a give and take kind of relationship, but we all give each other something that we need and take from each other that stuff that we don't necessarily have, but we can improve on. So it's a great thing about that. My work, obviously, teaching something I've always wanted to do my entire life. I've always wanted, when they ask me why I want to teach, and when my students ask me this, I tell them the same thing. I thought about this long and hard. I thought about it when I was in school. Thought about it as why I wanted to do what I do. Um, I've wanted to teach my entire life because as a young student, whether it's elementary, middle, or high school, you don't understand how much of an impact you can have on someone's life until that person grows up and tells you. And when I was in school, I had a lot of really nice teachers. I had some teachers that I couldn't stand. But at the same time, they not only wanted to educate me as a student, but they wanted to educate me as a man growing up. And whether it's coaching, whether it's teaching, whatever it is, I teach because I want to make a positive impact in someone's life, not only academically, but helping them grow as a person and how they want to be. So that's why I want to teach. It's plain and simple. I just want to help out as much as I can. And with that, not necessarily in just the classroom, which is why I showed them real world applications, whether it's the stuff that we're learning or stuff that they're going to like come into. It's something that I want them to understand, that they might not necessarily understand the grasp of the concepts yet, but they will very shortly. And when they come up, they'll think of it and they'll say, "Okay, this is some of the stuff we went over with. This is how this applies now. Now let's learn from something, make my own decision, and understand what the consequences might be, whether it's the right decision or wrong decision. You have to live with the consequences." So hopefully, hopefully I'm doing my best. For the kids that found my YouTube channel, guys, just leave it on here. Don't be looking this stuff up at school. Don't. There's things that I do, ways that I act that are 100% different than what I would do at school. And at school is 100% professionalism. It's 100% on the ball, doing my stuff, doing everything I can for them. And at home, yeah, I might curse every now and then. I might have some gameplay that's scary, some gameplay that's about Call of Duty. But it's just time to de-stress from life at home. Whereas at school, I'm 100% on the ball. I'm wanting to do my best for the students, and the school wants the best for you. So let's make sure we can do school stuff at school, this kind of stuff at home. So if you guys would, do me a favor. Make sure that we keep this separate, please. Last but not least, the students that I teach, I just want to say thank you. I understand that some of us aren't the easiest to get along with, and that I'm not the easiest person to teach. You guys gotta take it easy. This is my second year teaching. There's going to be things that I understand better this year than I did last year. There's going to be things that I understand down the road compared to this year. But I'm trying, which is why I implement YouTube videos in the classroom, which is why I go out of my way to ask things about how it comes and how the students want to learn, and things to approach the students, and not only just help them academically, but to get to know them as well. I want them to understand I'm a friend as well as a person that teaches them, and I want it to be the best experience that they can have. So there's so much more that could be said, but this is already a 20-something minute video, and I just want you guys to know I appreciate everyone that's out there. Thank you for everything that you do, and just continue to do what you can to make a positive impact on someone's life, whether you're a son, a daughter, mother, father, friend, cousin, any kind of thing that you guys do. Make sure you do that and continue to impact someone in a positive way. And with that being said, guys, I'm going to stop the video here. I hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving. Hopefully you're safe if you're traveling. If you went out into the Black Fridays, hopefully you guys stay safe then. Just make sure that you pay homage to the actual holiday break and be thankful. Thanksgiving is giving thanks to those around us. And make sure you take the time to actually think about it. Not necessarily tell everybody what you're thankful for, but just in your head, kind of like smooth it out. show someone some more appreciation in what we do. I know it's hard said and done, but yeah, just make sure you do something for someone. Make sure you're thankful for everything that people do for you. So with that, I'm out. Have you guys a good weekend.
Alright guys, thanks for watching. As always, like if you did, comment if you want, subscribe if you haven't. Check on the right side for my Twitter if you want to get in touch with me, as well as my YouTube channel if you want to subscribe. On the video ahead of you is the previous video. Click that if you want to watch, and I hope you guys have a great day. See you next time.